Welcome everybody. We are here again in the Top System workshop review with Barbara and I. We are presenting today the Leo constellation and the digestive system.
Welcome to the Leo fire energy. The Leo axis, the Leo Aquarius axis, it has so much information, as is the I am itself and its community, and with that dual or that integration or that expression is so much to talk. So we start with the Leo, the digestive system again, and as Matias presented on the beginning of the 12 systems, we have the 5 gears with the person, the constellation, the expressions, the biology, the people, and also that I'm gonna add in this one is the notes, just a little bit. So we already covered the parts of the body. So we start with the Leo part that is going to be the soul. We're going to have 4 sets of elements: air, fire, earth, air, and water. And we start over with the fire. This is the fire of the soul. We did talk about the fire of the body, that was Aries, and this one is the fire element of the soul. And the digestive system, and because I'm going to talk a little bit about Aquarius, that it was the nervous system. And like I always try to integrate all the systems and all the houses and how the axes interact. Okay. And here is what I'm adding just a little bit, that is the notes. If you see here, you can see the Matias when he was sharing and presenting the tool of the 12 systems. Down here, Matias was explaining sign by sign, the time, the space, the constellations, and he added, and he was showing that it was also related to the nodes. And we know that, but we don't bring it every time we talk because we work with that on the 2022, the 2021, the Egypt closure. Everybody was a node, everybody was a sign, and they were working with that energy. But because the Leo Aquarius axis is community and is the bigger picture to the point, to the self, that is Leo, or is the opposite from the Leo self, or it can be the tiny us towards all the reflection or fractals, the constellations, the expressions, then the biology, the people, and also the nodes, that is community. That is the expression of each area or each country or each city representing the other side of the axis, that is the Aquarius. So the 12 system tool is about us in reflection or as a fractal with the community that we belong, or the node, or the country, or the family, or every aspect that we are working on the tool. And here is a picture that for me it represents us as a community and the importance of the fire, the sun, as individuals. This is the Leo energy, but this is the Leo Aquario energy. And it's important because this society and these communities are created and are formed, or each cell of this whole body is created by little tiny cells or little tiny people or souls that are forming this body or this system, that it can be the organs that we are working, the stomach, the intestines, the digestive system, and also is forming each system and each organ and each society as a parallel. Talking a little bit about this access from the community to the personal Leo energy, or the Leo energy to the community. This access is about self-expression. Leo is the fully I am self-expression. We're going to go through the 12 houses, not 12 houses again, but I'm going to go back a little bit to explain the houses and how the Leo house is formed, or is the information coming to the 5th house, or the Leo is making us as a community and as a self. So the Leo represents the need of showing off in the most authentic way. Where do we act? On the community, or in the family, or each family system, or society, or work, or anything that we interact. Aquarius bring the expression in a rational way. Remember, the Aquarius is the air, is also rational, is mind. It manifests through impulsive ideas. So is our creativity manifested through the Aquarius community and ideas and work. They are both driven by the need of expressing their creativity and themselves. This access is about learning how to express yourself in the most pure way to be a true inspiration for others. And this is how we bring together of the psychology of the I am, or our values, or our identity, because we're going to keep going, but Leo is the sun, is our essential self. And again, you saw, I think I use this picture a lot. The self, our own Taurus energy, or oh my God, my English today, or own hearts are connected with the heart of others, and we become a society not through self, but we become through connection of the Taurus, everybody energy. Like Matias in the video, I watched a few minutes about the frequency and the vibration. This is what is forming us as a community. We are an individual. We are our own personal identity heart. But at the end of the day, each heart and each of us as united fields create the society, or create the community, or create the energy of this whole planet. And not only the planet, but this is all synchronized. Our body is synchronized with the earth, with the toroid of the earth, meaning the toroid of everybody, and also the galactic center, or the galactic toroid, that is the galaxy also has this toroid form. And that's how we all are communing. Even Leo is individual. The individual, or the whole, contain all of us, all the individual. And putting here some of the elements, the integration is, you're gonna see this in the body, in life, we are the elements, you can see the elements that is forming each of us as individuals. Then you have the earth sharing all the same elements, but the distribution in a different way. And then the universe contains the same elements in a different percentage, of course, but this is how we are integrating from the self, from the little tiny body with our own elements, to the universe containing the same elements. And here is say you are made of elements along with everything else on Earth. You are mostly oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, and nitrogen. This is the integration. So there is a self contained on the whole. And this is what the Leo energy is. It's part of the whole, as an individual. Is represented by the lion, is the sun, is the fifth house in astrology, is a fire element, is a fixed, in this case, the Leo, and the word is I create, is creativity, is the house of creativity in all levels. Creativity as if you remember, I'm going to go again, explain, is the creativity of the stuff that you like, the stuff that you are tuned, like some people like sports, some people likes music, some people are great drawing and art and with manual stuff, some people are really bad with the same stuff that some people are driven and very good at it. So each person has their own uniqueness. And remember, on the other side, as Aquarius, is Uranus, that is the uniqueness. So the sun, that it represents this house or the Leo energy, is your essence. All the astrology, or when you have your chart, the sun is going to give you your sun sign. That's your essence, that's your sign. My sun is in Gemini. Your sun is in Virgo. That's who you are. So this is a representation of the I am fully, and I'm going to explain the elements in one of the pictures, and we're going to go back to the fire of Aries, that is the I am. Then you have the fire of Leo, and then you have the fire of Sagittarius, that is the higher expression of the I am. Oh, I'm going to read this. Leos are likely to express themselves in dramatic, creative, and assertive ways. Leo have great energy, courage, and honesty. They are likely to be self-confident and maybe even a bit self-indulgent, as they expect to be the center of attention. Of course, they are the sun, and they are the lion, the king of the jungle, and often are. They also possess integrity, determination, and are natural leaders, as represented by the sun or the lion. They are the leaders. They are the center. Or maybe they feel like it. Okay, it represents the fifth house. In the I'm going to go back to the Pisa cross. Remember this, when we talk about the houses, we talk about the universal 1 to 12 houses. They are always placed on the same place. What it moves are the constellations. So in this part of the chart, the universal part, the fixed, the one that is not moving, is the fifth house. And on the other side of the Leo is the Aquarius. Again, charming, bold, optimistic, confident, passionate, generous, brave. And the weak side, because every sign has the other side, if it's too self-centered, a person that feels as a Leo the center of the party or the center of the world, it can be stubborn, egocentric, possessive, everything for me, self-absorbed, melodramatic, attention seeking. It can be both like positive or negative, not negative, but the strength and weakness of each sign. Sunflower is a flower, and the color is gold. I'm not going to read this, it's going to be there, but I wanted to share this picture, like always, because, okay, Leo is the identity. The fifth house is the I am. So this is happening now in society, and I'm bringing this because, honestly, this is exactly the fifth house of the identity or the individuation, and how society is influencing, is like acting on the fifth house when the kids are developing their own identity. How do we go there? What is going on is our I am that is kind of evolving or like having some kind of trouble. I was reading about this. I Googled because I wanted to put it and I wanted to explain more. The Therian people, they say it was invented, or the beginning of this, it was in Argentina and Uruguay. I don't know if that's true, but that, I think it was Wikipedia or something. One of the pages that I Googled is say that. And it was, okay, of course, Argentina, giving the note here. And what they say in that article is like they feel and they really connect and they have memories of past life being animals. It's not something psychological. Some might be, but some interviews or some sharings that they are having on Instagram or on social media, and I'm not watching this, but it was as an identity and something that is like right now very loud. For me, is fascinating. So they have memories of being animals. So how, as a collective, where that information is coming from? And in my mind of astrology, the sixth house, the house that is after the fifth, that is Leo, the house of Virgo, the sixth house represents the pets. And the house 4 is the family, is the context of the family, and is all our ancestral memories. So I was like, and in the article say they are still, because it's something so new that they don't know how to qualify this, if it's a mental issue as this generation, or is something real. So they are paying attention and following because it's something new. Of course, on the other side of the scale is Pluto in Aquarius, touching all and triggering all identity issues. So I wanted to bring this up. I have no comments about it. I'm just saying this is a very Leo situation that we are having in this community, in this Aquarius age, as people feeling and having memories and connecting with the spiritual animals, because they truly have memories being animals. And sometimes they have the needs, that's what they were saying, they have the needs of do stuff as like an animal. So when I'm finishing this, you you can make and you can comment something if you have more information, if you have an opinion, if you have a question. This is what I wanted to share because I think it's very Leo related, and related with the following house, that is our pets, is our health, and is our daily habits, but is also our pets. So maybe something is happening there. And this is my other sharing, becoming the supernatural, pure human, Greg Braden, all these new books and this new thought that we are evolving to something new, to something different, to something amazing. It's not going to be tomorrow, but that's the transition that we are going through. Pluto is on the other side, is opposing the Leo. So all these questions and all these subjects are going to be for the next 20 years, reflecting who we are and going on many shades, 50 shades of gray is going to be what we're going to go through in this Leo time, with becoming the supernatural, becoming the new human, and merging with the AI. This is all about the I am path. And this is in Spanish, but if you of here and understand Spanish, and it says as above, so below. And I put this one because we are working with the digestive system, and on the others, that is Leo, and on the other side, the Aquarius is the nervous system. So literally, we are going to be working with these two systems for a very, very long time, not only because Pluto is in Aquarius for 20 years, because the age of Aquarius is the brain and the nervous system. But we don't have to forget that on the other side of the axis is going to be the digestive system, related to all the emotional that Fifi is going to talk about. So as above, so below, we're going to have to see what we think. And here is more about it, because so many things are pointing to this, the gut, the brain, the second brain. Everybody heard now that we have the second brain, the heart and the stomach as a second brain, very related to this axis, nervous system and the digestive system. So there is a lot of information. I can translate it into the astrology, but as a biology, this is a big subject that is coming. So you have all these books to dig if you're interested, amazing books. And this is something that I put on the introduction of the astrology, that it was a 4-hour video that I went crazy. And it was right when everybody was talking about the 3A Atlas. And in that video, I also talk about my my cancer cells, or some external agent coming from the outside, or coming something new that we don't know what it is. We don't know if what is, if there is going to explode, it's going to disappear. So my point of bringing this is, like, for me, it was like the vagus nerve. This is crazy, but that's how my brain works. The connection between the brain and the stomach and the heart too. The vagus nerve is really the one connecting everything and working as a system, or working as a supportive to the two systems. So for me, the vagus nerve is key, and it's about, relaxing, breathing, meditation, everything that is coming. Yoga is been here forever, but now everything is more out there. So many yoga postures and breathing to work on the vagus nerve. And it's exactly what this head, or the mind and the heart and the gut coherence, bringing these three systems, or the two systems, but the heart is connecting, and is the Leo, into balance. So it's not casual. The 3A Atlas is around here, bringing new energies and bringing and moving and shaking more stuff. And that also the vagus nerve is very, very something new for me. At least for me, like 20 years ago, I have no idea what the vagus nerve was. And I was going to yoga, and I watched some videos and have some books, but now is key. So now explaining a little bit about this Leo energy. And if we remember, we are coming from the water side, the other side of the veil, that is the water coming to our body, experimenting through the senses, creating a mind. Then in this axis, the axis of the family, oh my God, family constellation, no. This is the ancestry. This is where we belong and where we come from. And this is what I say, where the pets are. Our pets are in the 5th house, and this is the routines. So if you remember, this is the I am when we come to Earth, the 1st house, with zero conscious. We have to forget who we are. We need to come with the basic function or systems working on their own. They do have a memory, they do have a conscious on their own, but the conscious that we come here to experience and collect information, like the mind, is kind of like block. We forget about everything when we cross this line, and we start getting information through the senses. We start getting information through our voice, or through our mind, or like putting dots together. Then we start getting information through the feelings that we have about our families, about our environment, or what we learn from the first group that we belong, that is mom and dad and the siblings that are here on this third house. And in the house number 5, that is also the I am that create. This is the fire house of creativity. It's like these kids that are growing, or this soul that is growing and getting experience, is starting to show the first sparks of who they are. That's what I put the picture of the teenagers now, that they are feeling that they are animals as well as human. They are merging these two realms, the animal kingdom and the human, and that's how we are connecting with our uniqueness that we are bringing to the community on the long run in this experience on earth. So whatever you get from your family is gonna, and your ancestrals, this is DNA, is gonna also create the characteristics of your own unique I am. You bring the information from the 12. You bring the information from here, the 4th, that is all the ancestry. You can play the piano perfectly because someone in the family was playing the piano and didn't go to be like the best, or he couldn't play the piano. So you come with the role of that person or that soul. That's a family constellation, or that's the Fifi. What is the name of the other one? Family constellation, and the other one, I don't remember. The other
The
rule.
the you're talking about it's not, is the constellation like the systemic?
No, family constellation, the other tool that you work with the family and it's not biodecodification. The other one,
BioNeuroEmotion?
that one.
Mm.
Everything is like we bring in our body and in our cells and in our soul, like the whole family tree, pros and cons and things that they couldn't like express, or they express too much. So the next generation is gonna be animals. It's gonna be like half animal and half human. Who knows where that is coming from? And that is what we bring to the community. A person that is really good doing art, it can bring as a gift to our communities, because it's gonna become as us, like the yo soy or the I am that Matias is using. Is bringing that as a collaboration, or is bringing that as an issue as well, as we're gonna present it later if I have time. Okay. So on the technical part, on your own chart, working with these 12 system, we're gonna see first in which house is Leo. Which house? Because remember what I say in the beginning, the Leo is on the cross of the pizza, the part of the chart is not moving, is on the 5th house, but your each person is gonna have it in a different place. Then how this constellation and the house relates. It's gonna be in a different house, and this house is gonna have another characteristics, another element, and that is going to be harmonic, it's going to be disharmonic. I'm going to give you an example with Matias' chart, because he's a Leo and he has so much in Leo. Then what planets are in that area of the chart? Can I relate this to any characteristics of my health, personality, challenge, fear, wishes, excess, obstacles, values, health, career, etc.? And here is Matias' chart. This chart is public, and some astrologers created a video with King G, I think, also about Matias' chart. There is a full video on YouTube about it. So here is this example. We locate the Leo constellation. Remember, on the part that is fixed, that is not moving, here is the Leo energy as well. But then you find where the Leo constellation is. For Matias, is on the 8th house. So you find in your chart where your Leo pizza, the portion of the pizza is. Matias is on the 8th house. So you make a combo, or you make you blend a shake. You blend the Leo energy, you blend it with the 8th house, meaning transformation, death and rebirth, letting go, dark night of the soul. It's a process of it's a process of death and rebirth. Matias came to do that because his sun is here. Sun in Leo. He is a Leo. He has Mars, the power, the will, the masculinity. He has Venus on the same hand to hand with the sun, if you see all this. And he has these two in Cancer, but they are also on the 8th house, but we're going to talk about the Leo energy only. So then, because I cannot separate this from the Aquarius, so you see that he has the Aquarius or community in his chart, that is the house of the values, the house of the material, the house that he feel, and also is the money. His economy is based on the community. Now, in your chart, you're going to find also the energy of the Leo in this area. Matias has Taurus. Again, is earth, is material, is senses, is the house of creativity. So, and it has Jupiter, the expansion. So this is what you do in astrology. You mix everything related to the Leo, that is the sun, because the sun is the ruler of Leo. You find where the Leo constellation is. Matias has it in the 8th house. And then you take a peek. This is going deeper. You don't have to go that deep, but if you want to, on the 12th system, you can find more information on the house that is the fixed house. That's the 5th house, the one that is not moving. So this is what you do with the 12th system. Again, this picture I show, this is the part that is not moving, the fixed. These are the houses. These are the constellations that are moving around. That's why Matias has the Leo on the 8th house. This rotates according to the time that you were born. These also are the planets, meaning they can be everywhere. Like I explained, the pizza, the cross is this part, and then the toppings, this can be the tomato. The sauce that you choose for the pizza, that it can be different as well, it can change. And also the planets are the toppings of the pizza. So each pizza is going to be completely different. And here comes the same, and I wanted to show this because here you have the moon, the sun and the moon. The two luminaries. This part of the chart is one of the most important. One is ruled for the feminine energy, one is ruled by the masculine energy, and the other side is, this is family, this is I am, this is work, and this is who we are. So everything evolves or revolves around these two. The sun, then you have two Mercuries, then you have two Venus, then you have Mars, the higher octave of Mars, that is Pluto, then you have Jupiter, then you have Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, that is the highest octave of Venus. And Uranus is the highest octave of Mercury. When it's not going. Okay. Going back to the elements and the triads, or the that's a word that I never remember. The triads and the, okay, I never remember the word, but anyway, we are working with the fire element. We have the triads for the air, for the water, for the earth. This time is the fire. And we know that the Trinity is, thank you, Yoli. That word, I have the issue with that one. The Trinities, okay. The fire element and the Trinities, or the triads, the triads of the fire. The I am, good. Triplicity also. The I am of the first house is the one that comes with the spark, not knowing what it's doing. It comes blind. It comes blank. It's just the beginning. That's what Aries is, the beginning. It's a force, it's a spark, but it has no conscious. So after going through these three elements, the senses, the mind, the physical body, the mind, and the emotional body, it becomes the fire of the who we are. After we embody those bodies, the emotional body, the mind body, the physical body, and the sensations, it becomes a I am with consciousness. That's what is creativity. That's what is the sun. You get to that aha moment of really knowing what you are tuned, or what you like, or what you are, because the kids, they might not know they are good playing the violin, or they might, but you just, with the practice, and that's how it comes the Virgo after. If you are good on soccer, the next things that you're gonna do is like make soccer your practice, and that's come the Virgo, and that's come probably you're gonna be a soccer player. Your work, your routine, Monday to Friday, you're gonna go play and practice soccer or practice piano, and then on the weekend you're gonna become you're gonna play in a team, or you're gonna play piano in a concert, things like that. So the expression of the fire in Sagittarius is already here. You have the spark, you start having the tune with the stuff that you are, and then in this part of the chart of this fire, you're gonna give it as a gift on the Sagittarius, that is the truth. Sagittarius is the truth, and is the wisdom, and the justice is the part that you give your gift. With the Capricorn energy that is coming after and is supporting, because in this part you need determination, you need a routine. That's what the Capricorn is helping you in this access. So that's the Trinity of the fire, now that I remember the and also, like I say, every fire, every spark of consciousness comes after the water. Here is the water of our mother's womb. This is the water of the affection and the emotion of the fire of the family, of the water of the family. And this is the emotional part of dying and rebirth, or letting go, or crying on the dark night of the soul, or going deep, 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 and letting go, then comes the fire and the consciousness and the next step of this evolution. And here is Matias' elements. And if you see, Matias is pure fire. Is 66% of the chart is fire. And that's amazing. It's a Leo, the sun in Leo. It has so much on the fire houses, but also the missing element is the air. And also I remember that he has the only thing on air is Chiron, that is the wound that Matias has, is on Gemini. It doesn't mean he's not good expressing or thinking or sharing or teaching, because we know that he's amazing. But what I was thinking when I was going through this Leo, he's really good teaching. So what is this air missing element saying? And I thought this: the only way that Matias can channel and can be the teacher, because he's not using his mind. And when you ask Matias something, he's lost. He can lose track, and he needs support of putting ideas and practicalities and ideas together. He can channel many ideas, but when he always say that he's not good making this happen, or setting all these ideas as a path. Everything that he does is through intuition. Matias has Neptune. Let me see. I'm going to go back to his chart. Matias has Neptune next to the here, next to the ascendant on the first house. Is pure intuition, and is Capricorn. Everything he can do is through intuition. The practicality that he has, it comes through the intuition. Also, here is the Chiron on Gemini, and that's the practicality of the Virgo house, putting order, putting a structure. His structure that is here on Capricorn is Neptunian. It's like a fog. He can see the structure. So that's what he needs, the team. That's what he needs, support in creating the Aquarius community. And that's why also the Pluto is here in the transits. So it is acting on this part. Matias is going through a very deep personal transformation, as his community is, because Pluto is here. And I think I have the transits. I'm going to try to hurry. Okay, here are the characteristics of the element. Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius: inspirational, confident, takes control, enthusiastic, fun, everything the Matias is, and mostly the Leo energy is. And that area in your chart is in Matias' case, is the 8th house. In my case, is the 12th house. For you, in your chart, is going to be an area that is the fun part, is going to be active, enthusiastic. That is a fire energy on that house, that you blend this fire with the element that is Matias is in a water sign, because the 8th house is water. So in his case, you mix the fire, that is all that is fun, excited, exploding, what Matias, Matias, and the water that is intuitive, introspective, deep feelings. When Matias goes from one side to the other, his sun is fire in a water house. So he's going to have these two energies blend. Sometimes it's going to be the full fire, sometimes it's going to be pure water and lost, and lost in a fog, lost in tears, lost in the feelings. And the stuff that he is missing, the element that he's missing, which is the air, is the mental, the social. He is social, but he's not social. You know that. Analytical, needs to share their thought with the world. He's doing it through the intuition. He's not doing it through the mind. He's not doing it through his knowledge or ideas. He is channeling the other side. He is bringing the knowledge from the other side of the veil, where the 12th house is. That's where his intuition comes, and the information comes from the water, the mist of the water. Is that complicated? I don't know if I made it too complicated. And here is Matias, or anybody. I'm using Matias, but you look this in your own chart. So Pluto is in Aquarius, right? Where Matias has his business, his senses, his values, and also in opposition of all this. His values are going to go in the next few years in a check. Then his essence is opposing Pluto. And then his Mars. That's going to be in a few years ahead. This is going to be in the 20 years. This Pluto is hitting Matias' personality, essence, process of rebirth, and also his economy and community. So as part of the community, we have Pluto going through us. This is going to be transformation because it is on his 8th house. We belong to this 2nd and 8th house because we are part of his community. So our community is going through a period of death and rebirth and transformation, as Matias is. Yeah, the North Node is in Aries, the identity. I don't want to go through his chart. I just wanted to talk about these 2 houses because it's a lot. And here again, the integration of the 2 houses, because there is not who you are or who we are is affected or integrated on our community, is the epigenetic. We do bring information from our ancestors, from our families. And in here you can see that everything is connected. We bring from our family, but this family on the other side, it has a support system. It has the masculine part of the family. So everything is interacting in reality on the Leo, who we are, or who I am. My parents had information from their ancestors, from their cosmic family. They didn't just show up and are our parents. So they bring also in their chart and their DNA a lot of information that is going to affect us. So these new teenagers feeling that they are animals, it is something talking about some information that is coming from here, or is coming from here, or is coming from here. Because we also know that there are galactic races that are felines, there are dogs, from Canon stars, then what else? The aviars. There are many races also that are connected with the humanoids, half animals. The Urma, I know the Urma because that's where the one I belong, and I I saw in meditation, they took me to visit. They took me to visit, and I was able to. They gather and they welcomed me, and I went and I hugged them, and I had it like a particular salutation. For me, it was a dream. For me, it was many years ago. I was still in Argentina, and I had no idea all this even existed. It was maybe 30 years ago. So then watching videos or listening to videos, some people had the same experience with the salutation, that it was only for that race. And they were felines. They were the human body with the head of a cat. It was a cat. And then I learned that they were the Urmas. So we don't know what we are transforming, and then this new Aquarius age is bringing so much new information. And like I say, the age of Aquarius, Pluto in Aquarius, is going to bring a lot of new things like this showing up in the world. It might come later, the disclosure with the aliens around us. Maybe they are the aliens, these kids with the animal feelings, so who knows? So this is very important as a Leo energy. Who we are is all the information come from many places, and this new chapter on humanity is going to be very Uranian, very Aquarian, and very unique and weird and unexpected and all that. There is always so much that I want to say, but I can't. The time is short. So here again, the axis, Aquarius and Leo. Leo is the heart, is creative, is exhibition, inner child, also the inner child, the pure, and the ones that we are all working on. Is a self-centered, the ego. Aquarius is the mind, is again the alien, the rebel community, and so on. You have this picture on the PDF, and this is only part of the information about Leo. And now I will close with a reading, and I'm going to close and I'm going to open the opportunity, because I want to make a Zoom more private. It's not going to be 12 system, but it's going to be Leo Aquarius Access Talk, and it's going to be a talk about community, and it's going to be a sharing, a personal sharing, and it's going to be my experience in groups, my experience and everybody's experience, because as everybody knows, I like to open mic and everybody share what is feeling, and I was going to do it here, but it was going to take 2 hours just to talk about the community and the Leo and the ego and the, all the aspects. So I'm going to do it in a different, separate Zoom meeting. And this is going to be what I'm going to talk about, what we are going to talk about, because this is not just my experience. This is happening, and this always happened, but more now, in many circles and many communities. I belong to the Native American Indian ceremonies community. I go since 2000, I don't remember, 2015, 2010. That I participate in the circles, and I go to ceremony like maybe 3 times a month. And I see the same happening in the Yosoi community and in their community. So this kind of this is what they share in one of our groups. And it's related to the ceremony circle, but it's related to us as well, the Yosoi. Okay, why is there so much fighting and envy among circles? And I'm going to read it. There are circles that speak of unity but live in competition. Circles that say we are all one but fragment over form. Whether the prayers come first, whether the door faces exactly is, this is all Native American, remember. Whether the pen is correct, whether the lineage is true, whether permission is required, where the fire is lit this way, and the uncontrollable question is this a living tradition, or is it control disguised as purity? Is the native, or it is the colonization transformed? And this comes more general. Colonization didn't just take land. It installed fear, rigid hierarchies, spiritual competition, heartless authority. When a circle needs to prove it is the right one, it is already operating from a place of scarcity. The authentic native does not compete. Translate all this to the Yo Soy group and many other groups that you belong. The authentic native does not compete. It sustains. The settler needs to control the narrative. The native sustains the relationship. The settler imposes form, Capricorn. The native honors substance, energy of Cancer. The settler asks, who is in charge here, Capricorn? The native asks, how are we in relationship, Cancer energy. What is the real difference between native and settler? It's not the clothes, it's not the language, it's not the aesthetic, it's the internal structure. The settler needs control, validation, vertical hierarchy, fixed identity. That's very Capricornian. The native understands relationship, responsibility, cycles, humility before the greater. A settler can dress in medicine. A native can wear jeans. The difference is not external, it's how they position themselves in relation to life. The most uncomfortable. Sometimes the enemy isn't the other circle. It's our own ego defending spiritual territory. Sometimes the fight isn't about truth. It's about identity. And that is indeed internal colonization in all the groups. When the circle ceases to be a space of listening and becomes a trench, it's no longer a circle, it's a border. The real question, does your circle foster more humility or more superiority? More responsibility or more rhetoric? More connection or more separation? Because what is truly native isn't the form, it's the way you walk. I read responses, not followers. It's useless to pray one thing and do the opposite. Metakwyasin, that is the salutation of the Native American, and this is the reflection on the axis of Leo Aquarius. The own self, our ego or our sun, and our communities, because the community is our own family, the community is our own school, is our own doctors, is our own work. So these questions about limits and borders and who we are is in all circles. And many things are happening in Matias' circle. And I'm gonna open the next Zoom meeting to share about it, my personal experience after following Matias since 2010, and see all the transformation, and open to everybody to share and go through this experience of Leo Aquarius time. And that's it. I'm gonna stop sharing. And if you have any question, if not, we're gonna go to Fifi.
So I want to start with the just connecting with these energies that Barbara made us feel today, connecting to Leo. I felt really very aligned with this system and these energies of Leo, because I am going through my own process of projecting myself out there. And this is one of the things that I would like to talk today, because I feel like many of us individuals, people that connect with the spiritual part, with this strong sense of serving to our communities, we don't find a way because there is something that is not in balance. And I think it's very important to embody the energies of Leo. Here's just an overview of, this is just for the presentation, so if you want to review it in the future, the videos, you know what is the order. Like I said, you can ask questions meanwhile I'm talking, or if you want to just leave it for the end, we will open the mic at the end. And this is the first image that I feel that portrays what the I am and the conscious Leo is about identity, is about shining from within out there, is how we as a creative self-expression, and it doesn't mean to create something, but I think everybody has a creative power just with the moment you envision something, the moment you have an idea, a dream, you are creating. So how we connect that brain to our hearts through the digestive system is something that we're going to talk in this presentation. And in this image, I wanted to show that everything that we are is projected from ourselves. And if we don't know where we're standing as our own sun, it's like we are just lost in the system. We need to find ourselves, first of all. We need to place ourselves as the sun we are, to look around us 360 degrees and see what I am attracting to myself, what I am expressing from all these angles as well. But if we don't know where we are dispersed. We are not in that center of gravity where then we can give to the world. Here I put here, as always, and all the presentation is the same thing, so you can go through that. I really like to connect the energies of the constellation of Leo that Barbara already explained as a connective point, so we start feeling that energies and bring it through the system of the body. So the constellation that will work today is Leo, is related to the fire element, and is the sun. It's where we have our sun in our chart, is our sign, right? It's where we shine, or what is the essence from where we need to find this a spark to bring to the world, that creations that we are bringing and materialize it to the outer world. We need to find ourselves. Where is that? Where I shine? Where is my identity? Who really I am? We came from our ancestors. We bring the information from our ancestors, from our parents, from our tree, and in that path, we recognize in Leo and in these energies that we are our own self, that is ready to bring to the world that shine, that creativity, that impulse for expressing and projecting something out there. So the attributes of the Leo is I want, is the energy of self-expression, recognition, creativity, also courage, passion. Leo is very passionate, and it wants to be visible, right? It's the sun, like Barbara was saying, is the center. It's the center of attention, but sometimes it's our shadow, right? We don't want to be a center of attention, and it's when I invite us today to connect with that information of how I want to project myself to the world, how I want to serve from this point if I don't shine, right? If I don't show myself, if I don't show the world what I'm capable of, that I'm ready to bring to the world this service and all this knowledge and wisdom that I have. So here is the birth chart, just so you can, as an example, the same birth chart that I have here, so you can just see where is the Leo, like everything that Barbara already explained. I just have this as an image. I'm a very visual person, so I like the images to see and, like I said, connect to that energies. And in this chart, you can go through these questions that Matias I'm just transcribe what Matias explained in the 12 systems, so as a guidance. And in the concept of a space is where we ask ourselves what energies I'm living. For example, what is the energies of Leo, conscious identity, personal power, leadership, where I am in that space of expressing or even expressing or integrating or transcending over the time process, where I am living that energy. It's important also for the 12 system to recognize that as a practice and knowing how I'm expressing it or how I am transcending it, if in what stage of my life I'm living this energy. So this is just the chart that you have, and I just fill it up based on the image of the chart, so you can use this as a guide if you would like to just revise that. These are just the astro ruling planets that are connecting to the signs. And we are, as Barbara mentioned, starting the soul arc. We did the body, all the body arc from Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer. And now we are opening the soul, which is Leo, the digestive system, and the space is the element of fire. And the person we are working today, and this is something that is hard sometimes for people to relate, but in any time of this presentation, for all the information I talk and also Barbara talk, if you feel that is someone that brings to your mind any partner or ex, you just take note, and from that you can keep working with this 12 systems. And we are in this Leo and digestive is the time of integration. Here, this is the bridge of the soul. Like I was saying, we're opening the bridge of the four next signs with their elements and the times and their spaces that are connecting to the soul. So the soul is the path between our mind and our body. Is the softwares of emotions, is the processor of the emotional part of our experience. And that processor of emotion translates into the experience of the physical body. It's very important and to recognize the emotions that we feel, the good and the bad ones, right? We tend to judge good or bad emotions, but the most important thing here is to live all the emotions coherently, because if we suppress any emotion, we are going to leave it in the other extreme. So it's very important to connect to that bridge between our mind and our body, which is the soul. Our emotional path is very important for our journeys, right? So this is the soul. After we go through the body from the house 1, the Aries house, where we have the spark, the initiation, then the baby is born and then has a body in Taurus with the muscular system, then go through the Gemini facet of like connecting through the voice, connecting through the expression of the voice, and then in Cancer, it just is embodying all the water and the energy of the nourishment. After all this process of the body, again, we start with another fire element, which is Leo, in a different way. Now that we are out there, we start showing who we are, how we separated from our family, and start like really recognizing our own identity. What do I do with what I have, with this sparkle of the Leo? So the soul's journey is about moving from the me, the ego, that sometimes we judge it, right? We are in a spiritual path. We I think give um, a bad characteristics to our ego. But we need to understand that to go out there and to show who we really are, we need to embrace that without judgment. We just need to I will say balance ourselves, regulate. I think that's the word I was looking for. Regulate ourselves to understand in a coherent way how our ego is serving us to do what our soul and our mind, our spirit and our soul wants to manifest in this world. So here I put just these images of the four next signs that are the bridge of the soul, and we are going to talk today about the Leo and the digestive system, which is the expression of oneself and the creativity. So the next one is going to be Virgo, like Barbara was expressing, right? Once you know who you are, or you're embracing your own creativity, your own self, you empower yourself, then you need to go to do every day, like the everyday life, the Virgo energy, the service, the refinement, practice it, right? To then in Libra, you mirror with a partner, and also use that as a recognition of how the emotions I don't recognize in myself. Sometimes I can see in the other, and the other is also a tool, in a way. I will say a tool, but is the way of how we can also practice that recognition of our emotional process. And in the Scorpio is when we transform that strong, I will say, emotions that we sometimes, like I said, judge it, or we don't want to face it. We transform it from this strong feelings to something that enlightens us, something that we comprehend through consciousness. And this is the magic of the alchemy of transforming an emotion that is very there's been there probably in ourselves for so long, in our information from our ancestors, our tree that we carry through the generations, and how we have the power of transforming it. And it's also very interesting because the Leo system is related to the digestive system, and Scorpio is the excretor system. So the anus on the biological digestive system is the last part of the whole system of the digestive system. So I think it's very interesting. Like everything is connected, and it's interesting to just start connecting. That is how we finish that the whole process. And I felt that like it was really interesting to mention that here, because emotionally we also digest information, and we need to know how to get rid of the ones that are not serving us anymore for our journey and our conscious journey and evolution. So the sun here is the will to be. Like I was saying, how important it is to recognize ourselves as the sun. True, that is the point of gravity of a system. How important it is to center ourselves and really empower ourselves as this point of gravity. Sometimes there is shame, or we feel embarrassed to be in that position. And also there is a belief system that we shouldn't be doing that. I think we need to start taking consciousness about the belief system, about being of service to others or to our community, because we feel that we need to do it from a position where we let ourselves in the dark, we will say, in a way. But we cannot give anything if we don't really embody it and we don't have it, right? So that's very important. So this part, the fire of the soul, which is the sun that we are, that we have our own identity, is the stage where you start being the consequence of your life, of your past, and you start being the cause of your future. I really love that phrase, because it's when we recognize that we have the power to change our future, to change our reality, when we start living in a way of responsibility, and not in judgment, and not in the victim position, right? We have the power to really transform things, and these energies of Leo and the digestive system is also about alchemy. It's also about transforming the things that we carry, right, from our ancestors. We don't, like I always say too in my practices, that we don't have free will, in a way of like we carry information, emotions from our family, and we need to accept it with responsibility and recognize that some information we're gonna need to overcome it through our lives with situations that are not pleasant. But just understanding that is freeing ourselves from that victimhood. So your individual essence serves as the gravity point that keeps the various biological and spiritual systems orbiting around a single purpose. And when I was reading that, when I was putting this together, I remember when Matias was explaining that, and I think it was really interesting when he said that he didn't want it to be the center. He didn't want it to be in the center, right? He wanted to be just in the periphery, like, one more. And sometimes this is the position that we want to be in. One way is not coherent, because we want to really give something, we want to serve, we want to do something for a community, but we need to do it from this center point that is ourselves. The soul seeks to express its unique identity through creativity and play. And I think that's the moment when we realize that we have something that maybe is not accepted 100% by others, maybe is not even accepted from our family, right? I have many experience with my practice, and people were telling me how they felt like their family didn't accept the way they did things, or if they wanted to study something else. And I think this is a fight inside us until we really empower ourselves and give us this permission, right? We're waiting for our parents to give the blessing, right? It's very subconscious. It's just an unconscious way of being part of a clan and being part of a community, to be accepted and approve and receive the approval. But sometimes when we are waiting for that moment, we are stuck, we're blocked. We have doubts, and we don't go ahead and shine and start giving that uniqueness, a unique way of ourselves to give to others.
Yes. Related to what you just said, I notice sometimes many of us, or many on the communities, they try to adjust to the community like needs or rules, but it's not what they are. and it's not what their own identity or Leo shine is, and they try to mesh, to be who they are not, just to belong or just to be part of the community. That's what it creates all these, issues in the communities when it comes from the no authenticity. Is like, this is who I am, or this is how I express, and this is how I can cooperate from my own personal shiny sun.
Yeah, I just feel that sometimes is, well, this is obviously my personal um, point of view, but I feel like everybody's is like trying things, right? Like we feel we just are we feel this connection to someone, to some message. We feel like connected to a group, and it's just for me a discovery, right? It's like I think there is a good way of like really start understanding who we are, if we are gravitating around another sun, or and sometimes this is a good example to really realize, okay, I'm going to be all my life a planet or being or like an asteroid, or I don't know, one of these metaphors, like going surrounding a center that is not me, because when I am not embracing and living my son, I'm going to be always living up to others, and not really understanding where is my place in this world, what is my purpose here. So I think it's very interesting. I think, I'm very grateful in all these groups. You see everything, but it's a way also to, I think, if we take the juice of like a learning, right? To really find our own place is where we can really start giving to the world from this unique point of view, or from this uniqueness that characterize our sun inside of ourselves. So yeah, for me it's a learning, it's always a learning space to know how I need to find my place. And I think, it's a process. We're doing that as a community as well. So it's the first time when the individual, I think in Leo, when we get to that point after Cancer in Leo, is where we are centering ourselves and say, okay, from here I need to, what I have to project, what I'm projecting out there, because the projection always gonna come from something that comes from yourself. And here's where I wanted to talk also about not just the projection on our life, but our projects. So the projects we have in life, it can be a business, and a new a new family, a project of having a partner and getting married. Any project are an extension of our essence. And this was a point where I started really reflecting about my own project. And that's why I wanted to put it here, because I remember with Matias, when they said that the projection is the process of the soul throwing its internal light into the screen of the outer world, and that the projection of projects come from the world throwing forward. And and for that to happen, I need to know what I have, right? What I have in myself, so I can put it out there. Sometimes I feel like we want to do steps of like starting like I said, like entrepreneurship, putting out there an idea, or getting out there, but we have a lot of doubts. We're not centering ourselves, because we still feel that, oh no, it's not the moment to shine, because I need to learn more, right? Like this is something that happened to me. It's like I'm not ready. I need to maybe get more prepared. And my higher self told me that this is also a very Virgo, energy of like not knowing that nothing is perfect, and we are in these moments that is very important to be authentic and to show ourselves from this authenticity, even though nothing is, is going to be probably in our eyes the perfect moment, or we're not going to be like, we're going to be perfectly prepared, but this is also a belief, right? This is a belief that I hear from my family, like, if you're not gonna do it well, don't do it. And sometimes we need to reflect on these beliefs that they're being instaurating there from our family or society, to really understand that you are ready to shine in the moment that you find your inner self, your center, and when you accept yourself for who you are, and that you are also enough, right? When you feel that I think is when you start, like, just giving the steps, right? Just start projecting without fear of doing it wrong, or like not being correct. And I think, like, that's something that I've been, like, experiencing, and that's why I wanted to put it here, because I feel really connected to this energy of the self recognition, and from there I start projecting out there whatever I want to project. So you project to see the world recognizes the I am that you have felt internally during your body phase. So it's the moment where you already start shining out there. So the digestive system talks also about the transforming the life experience that we have into a personal power. Like, the digestion start in the mouth, and in the anus, when we do the excretory process. The same way, in the symbolic part, we also digest information, digest or take information from the other world, take life experiences, and we digest it. So it's about integrating what it nourishes your identity, and let go and releasing what is not useful for you anymore. It's about the self-expression and empowerment. This is the digestive system, connecting to also the fire element of the Leo. Here, the fire element is about passion, action, and creative impulse. And I really, when I was putting this together, I wanted to put just a fire, but an image came to me, and it was this image. It was the courage and the will of the lion's heart. That's the energy I feel in that moment. How we need to embrace that fire of the lion, for having that passion, but also this self recognition that we are this brave person to get out to the world and show who you really are. So our digestive system is the laboratory of the soul. So is the bridge that between the matter and the energy. I really like this, because it came to my mind when I was putting this together, about the alchemy, and now the alchemy process that we are doing, if you're following the alchemy process of Matias, and how we are really transforming, but connecting daily with these informations that that will be useful for you. It's like every day I feel like we digest, right, the information. For example, the news. If we expose to that, and we decided to take this information, right, like to put it inside us, in our mind, in our emotions, we are making this energy matter. And that's very important to understand, that anything that you are taking, allowing to go through your space, you are transforming that to matter. So it means to your reality. I think this system, it was teaching me a lot about this. So the difference between, I just put this chart so a lot of people have clarified that the medical astrology is different from the biological system that Matias taught. For Leo, digestive is, and the biological system is digestive. But for the medical astrology, as you can see here, Leo is the heart, the spine, upper back, and cardiac system. So it's just different perspectives, but at the end, I think, everything is connected. So the biological system here, we just I just listed the functions, and I like to put the biological function and the symbolic function because our body is very literal. So whatever the biological function does, symbolically, you will see that has correlation. So the function of our digestive system is basically break down the food into nutrients through ingestion. So the digestive system start in the mouth, and then all the fragmentation, because obviously like the food goes in there, it just separates from what is useful, what is not, and absorb the nutrients, the water, and all the nutrients that the body needs. Some of them goes to the heart, and then eliminates what is not useful for us, right? So in the symbolic function, it's the same way. We assimilate our reality, and on that process, we discern. It's like the fragmentation, right? We also start absorbing what is good, what we know that who we are, what we think that we are, what people taught us or see us in a way, and we start discerning that to saying, no, I'm not this person, right? Like I can hear things from out there, right? From your own family or your friends. But when you start recognizing and discerning inside yourself who really you are, it's important that also obviously to take that perspective of the others, how others see you for your internal questioning, right? But I think it's important to start really listening from the inner self, who we really are, if I am this person or not, and start, getting into that center and not being surrounded by all these, words that sometimes take us out of the center. And then when we are start recognizing who really we are, how I feel myself, is when we start really allowing also to be creative, right? To be expressing that creativity and the way that we want to show the people ourselves. Here I am just, this is a lot. I know this is like a biology class, but I just wanted to list all the system organs or all the parts of this digestive system. So all that, every single one of them has obviously a symbolism. In this slide, I'm just listing the biological function. Like the mouth is where we initiate the digestion by chewing, then it goes to the esophagus with transport food. The stomach is where we break the proteins. The small intestine is where our body absorb nutrients. The large intestine is where we absorb water, or also is in the place where we have this beneficial bacteria. When I was reading this, I was thinking how important is just taking consciousness about our biome, right? And like Barbara was saying, our stomach is our second brain, and everything starts in the mouth. So it's really important to also take consciousness about brushing our teeth, right? Like I know a lot of people, they know already that fluor is not good because, of the hardness of the pineal gland. But also it's very important to realize that our biome starts also in our mouth. So we have a good bacteria that lives in our mouth. And if we start like super cleaning their mouth and like doing all this, using all these how you call that, the mouth washers. I don't remember. uh, that I don't use it, obviously. This is killing our biome. So it's very important to take consciousness about that, because it's very related to that part of our body, like on the stomach, on the large intestine, where we also have these beneficial bacteria. So the liver is the organ that help us digest the fats and process the nutrients and detoxifying the blood too. So have a healthy liver is very important for our blood. The pancreas is where we have these digestive enzymes, and it also produce insulin and regulate blood sugar. And the rectum and the anus is the last part, like I was telling you, from Leo to Scorpio, is where we expelled all the waste from the nutrients that we absorb. The rest we eliminated. So this digestive system, like I was saying, not just processes food, it also processes information. And in the next slide, I just listed the symbolic biodecoding perspective of each of the parts of the digestive system that are related to identity, territory, anger, assimilation, survival. I don't want to read everything because it's going to be too long, but you have it here on the presentation in the video. So you can, go ahead and look. For example, my dad had pancreatitis like several times, and it's funny because since I remember myself, he was very he had cravings for sweets all his life, and now he had pancreatitis. And then the pancreas, the symbolic theme, is about the sweetness of life, and the conflict is the family conflict around affection. I think he had a life. Well, his dad died when he was very young, and his mom basically needed to raise him, and all this nurturing that a mother gives when she needs to be in a position of a father, of the breastfeeder. Sometimes, and I experienced this in my own life too. You kind of have this lack of emotional connection and like nurturing from your mother. And actually the digestive system is very related to the mother connection. So I pass it here because I wanted to talk about this. The mother connection symbolically is the food, right? That the first source of nourishment is the mother. And sometimes the conflicts here are like some people that have weight problems, right? Like they do everything and they're like, I'm overweight. We need to, from the biodecoding or BioNeuroEmotion, we can start going deeply in how was this connection with your mother or in your ancestors, how was your female lineage related to, for example, this example that I gave, women that needed to take the role of the father and couldn't be the nurturer, right? So these conflicts are pointing that how we digest our early experiences of love and care. But this system also speaks about how we assimilate experiences. And it's literally, it's like when you said, I cannot swallow this situation or this experience, is about taking consciousness of what is this thing that I cannot swallow, and start going deep deep inside us, and start actually asking these questions of what I am not accepting. Sometimes it's about not just accepting the situation, but it's accepting people, and everything start in us, right? What I am not accepting about myself, that I see it out there projected to the other people that reflect me that. Also speaks about how we transform anger into the self-leadership. This system, very fiery, Leo is about anger, right? Like I think from all the energy, from all the emotions, sorry, what it came to my mind when I was working in this, it was the anger. But also anger is not a bad emotion, right? It's all the emotions are useful, and anger sometimes we need the anger to put limits, and sometimes to empower ourselves to say, okay, this is who I am. I'm not gonna listen to that because this is not, this is not who I am. I don't want to go through this path. This is my path. We need to put limits. And anger is an emotion that is there for a reason. We just need to know how to use this emotion in a way that is useful for us. So in this case, is transforming this anger, what I'm angry about, and really understanding that this is showing me something to empower myself about my inner, my self-acceptance. Also, like this system talks about this identity, right? This identity, and like we were hearing Barbara about the Therians, is about the conflict of who I am and who I'm not. I know this is like, we're living crazy times for transitioning now or entering Aquarius. I think we're gonna see very different people that are gonna express themselves in different ways. And of course we're gonna go through all this process of like judgment or like confusion, but it's the process that we need to go through because we are transforming, right? That the earth is transforming, like all these energies are transforming, and just taking consciousness about this, observing and understanding too that whatever I see out there, let's say, I don't know, I'm watching these Therian things, and I automatically have emotions, right? Or thoughts that come to my mind. The most important thing here is to just question yourself, what is this thought that it come to my mind that bothers me, or like is make me uncomfortable? What is this emotion? Can be disgust, can be like anger, can be any of that. When I see it out there, what is telling me to myself? It's like, am I being open and free as they are to really express who I really am? Maybe these expressions are out there to make us question if we really have the will of showing in the strength, right, of showing ourselves how we really perceive ourselves. And this has to do with self-worth, right? To say, I'm not probably like other people expect, but this is who I am. And I love myself for who I am. Starting from that is how our inner sun starts shining strongly and strongly. And this is the way I personally feel. So this, I love this, this power of the alchemy that this system is showing me, because it's about to transform all these experiences on all these experiences that are like I was talking about judgment and conflict and rejection and frustration. Because when we start expressing ourselves, when we start like getting out of this family Cancerian bubble, and we start getting out to the world to show who we really are, of course we're gonna face conflict, criticism, rejection, frustration, judgment. But how we take that and we transform it to a gold of consciousness, how this gives me the strength to really know who I am, to really value myself, to gain clarity, and to empower myself, right? It's about taking this and not this part that can be very dark and very heavy, but really use it in a magical way, right? As the alchemist does. He transformed that experiences that uh, that sometimes block us, right, to do really what we want to do, to project ourselves, to do projects in our life, how these empower us and make us gain more light and clarity.
And each element has that process from the beginning, from the tree. The
Mm-hmm.
last one is the highest expression, and how they process each element, in this case, the sage of the fire.
Yeah, it's like this clarity, right? It's like getting from the dark part of the alchemy process of Scorpio. Is like I see with the Sagittarius, right? To see that clarity is like when we have more, really, we reassure ourselves with more clarity, who we really are and what we want to do, give to the world, how we want to project ourselves. So from BioNeuroEmotion, which is this method that I use in my practice, is where we observe this perception, these beliefs, these patterns of emotions that are related to our family tree also, and how these are very connected to our biology because we somatize our emotions. And here I just listed a few questions related to the system and the energies of the Leo and the digestive system through the BioNeuroEmotion scope, like what responsibility I feel too heavy to digest, or in what situation did I feel my identity was attacked, what part of me feels unseen or invalidated, what decision did I feel forced to accept against my will, or who in my lineage lost status, power, or recognition. There is a lot more, but here are some, so you can start like feeling the energy and the connection with these energies, and probably a familiar situations that are connected to this system. Sometimes we can recognize that we need to work in a system when physically we have a problem. Like personally, it was really weird because I never had a problems with my stomach. But before, when I start having the questioning myself if I should leave my work and really uh, focus on the project that I wanted to do, personal project and my soul project as a coach and accompany people through the spirituality and the practices of coaching. I in that moment when I was still working and like having the thoughts, I started having a strong pain in my abdomen, like in my plexus. It was like something that I've never felt. And actually, when I give these steps, when I decided to do, like my body was talking. My body was talking because I wasn't hearing my voice, right? So I wasn't hearing my inner self, and my body was communicating. So it's very humbling to really understand that our body is this extension of ourselves that work with us together, right? And communicating us in a way of like sometimes we don't want to hear because it's painful, but this is the way our body talks when we block emotions or judge, that processes that we need to go through, because our soul knows and our spirit knows what we decided to incarnate in this body, what is the purpose that we are looking for to achieve. And the body is screaming sometimes, and this is screaming sometimes are like disease. um so my old self in this case will say something like shining is risky, don't show yourself, it's not the moment, I'm not ready, I'm gonna, I'm not prepared, or anything like that. But here the invitation is to embrace that and really observe and question ourselves, and find a way so we can find this light and say, I shine from my inner light and project it to the world because I am ready, because this is what I need to do right now, because there is no perfect moment, there is never a perfect moment. So on the space and time, in the space, we talk about the element of fire for Leo, and there's many questions. I just put few. So questions help us a lot to really start anchoring a lot of the ideas that we have. It's important to write it down if you can write it down, but questions are key. And here I just listed two, which is what anger did I not allow myself to express, or what part of me feels unseen or invalidated, and what time and what timeline, or like in what cycle I'm living that or experiencing that, if it's I'm transcending this energy or I'm expressing it, and in which person, in this case partner or ex-partners, I can see, feel these emotions or recognize these biological symptoms. Like I was talking about my dad, for example. So in this case, well, it's not a partner, but if you look for a person, if you didn't experience that, like you can see it through the other person. Like, well, my husband actually, he's a ascendant Leo, like rising sun Leo, and I can see a lot of these elements or energies on him, and I can relate to that. So this is a good way of recognizing it in yourself too through the other person. And this transgenerational pattern I just listed, this is connected to your family tree. And like I said, questions are really important when we start putting consciousness that we carry information and emotions from our ancestors, is where we can really start looking back to go forward. It's like this retrogrades, right? Like we are living in these cycles, and sometimes it's not about just going forward. I don't think we can go forward full force if we don't sometimes retrograde, sometimes go backwards, and looking at our family tree, the emotions, the stories, why they experience, will make us have the consciousness and the strength to go forward in our own life, in our own projects, in our own journey. So here, I just listed some. These are like some subjects related to these energies of the digestive system: humiliation and loss of dignity, suppressed anger, power and territory conflicts, patterns of care or sacrifice through generations, recognition, visibility of wounds, survival through control, also forced acceptance. When I think all our like rebellious child are there at some point. Identity of suppression, over responsibility, and leadership burden. Or if you are the oldest of your, the sibling that is the oldest, sometimes you feel a lot of this pressure of like, I am the older, and how we work on that, like how we caring probably too much that are related to the family, and I cannot go forward in my own project in my life because I need to take care, as I have this belief, or I need to take care of or have the responsibility to take care of all my siblings. So all these stories are about talking about this power, the survival, the right to exist, the visibility and authenticity that sometimes was suppressed at some point on the tree, and how we can embrace it and transcend it through us. The only way to heal this thing in our trees, these subjects in our trees, is really when we start embracing it, accepting it, and living it through that in a different perspective. If someone suffered because, for example, it was the responsible one, maybe the parent, the dad died, and he was or she was the eldest sibling, and they need to take a lot of responsibility. So then if I living that experience, I need to know that if my ancestor happened, that he lived that and he suffered and couldn't understand, now I have the tools to understand why I'm experiencing something like that, and I choose to live it in a different way with acceptance. And this is a healing power of transcending an information. So here we just I just there is many practices to work with this system, but I wanted to just talk about the plexus chakra, because in my experience, this is what I felt it like I was telling you earlier, when I was trying to have the will, like all the force, and like to convince myself that this is the path, even though I was scared and I had a lot of self-judgment. The plexus chakra in my stomach and my belly was the part that really made me to consciousness, and I'm very thankful for that. And so here I invite you to take consciousness about this chakra. So this chakra in Sanskrit means city of jewels. It's the Manipura chakra, and is the center, the energetic center of the personal power, identity, transformation, and conscious will. Is where it sits, our inner sun, and is very connected to the projects. I feel it's very connected to how you take yourself to the world. And this practice, I would like to invite you. I'm just like would like to invite you to finishing with this. But I'm going to do like a small practice to close this. And it's about just connecting with this chakra. We're gonna put our hands in our bellies, and we're gonna practice putting consciousness on this emotional blockage that are related to resentment, shame, feel empowered, and feel the over control, or someone wants to control us, we are over controlling. And we're gonna, through the practice, we're gonna envision, feel, connect with the balanced digestive system, which are transforming this food into energy, transforming the experiences into wisdom, transforming the emotions into direction, and transforming the instinct into conscious action. So here I just want to start this small practice with this phrase: I transform every experience into wisdom, every challenge into strength, and I shine from my authentic power. And I invite you to take your hands in your belly, to close your eyes, and to breathe, feeling your stomach, connect with your self-empowerment, connect with your inner child, this inner child that was playing, believing in all the possibilities, knowing his worth, knowing that he was good in what he was playing. I invite you to look at your inner child right now and see the fire, that you are the creator, that you have your creativity to play it the way you enjoy it the most. What do you enjoy doing? Project it out there. Open your arms and give it to the community, giving it to the others. But from your center, you are a center, a sun that shines. And from there, you open. Today, I said to the inner child, thank you for showing me how to play, how to enjoy, how to play with others. From my center, accepting who I am, and thanking the ego for taking me out there, aligning with my higher self to give to the world what I was supposed to give when I decided to reincarnate in this body. You can give a big breath and coming back here and now, thinking to yourself for this time, for this moment. Thank you everybody for being here.